Breathing seems like the most mundane thing we do, yet the trend of breath work is at a pace to take over the very practice in which it came from, yoga. But what if I told you that there's a better, simpler, and more effective practice, and one that has something modern breath work doesn't? The test of time. Try this with me. Take a breath in, and then take a full breath out. Probably like, okay, now what? But there's a lot you don't know about how powerful something this simple actually is. And before we dive into the power of the breath, let's quickly talk about the evolution of modern breathwork class.
Believe it or not, you could be breathing incorrectly. Today, 8 on Your Side finds out about breath work and why people are signing up to learn how to do it the right way.
I've been teaching yoga and breathing for almost 20 years now, and I love the concept of modern breathwork. But something has shifted over the past decade. Breathwork has become popularized, it's been packaged, heavily monetized, and in that process, we have completely lost sight of where it actually came from. So I want to take a step back to pranayama, the original, the OG breath practice. The simpler, the more effective, and most importantly, a time-tested approach to breathing. Pranayama is the art of regulating the breath, taught throughout yoga's history. In fact, many of the earliest yoga postures weren't about stretching at all. They were actually designed to prepare the body for breathing and consequently for meditation. Ancient teachers in India understood something that was crucial, that the breath is the master key to the mind. They said, when the breath is quiet, the mind is quiet. And it's not that the breath is making no sound. It's that the breath is comfortable, it feels light, it feels balanced. We aren't holding our breath out of fear or tension, or we're not breathing rapidly out of panic. It's a breathing in a way that feels calming, relaxing, like a big yawn. So these ancient teachers said, if you want to steady your thoughts, the first thing you need to learn is how to steady your breath. And that is exactly what pranayama is. It's a tool that we can use, and when we use it properly, it can make our breath and mind more stable. Not just stable in that moment, but a lasting stability that we can take with us throughout our day and throughout our life. It works with how we breathe in. Pranayama works with how we breathe out. It even takes interest in the retention of the breath by teaching us to notice the holding of the breath, whether after inhalation or after exhalation. Pranayama is essentially the combination of yoga asana, the postures working with the body, and of meditation. Or you could even say it can be considered the bridge from the body to the mind. Now, there are countless techniques and ratios and methods of breathing, and this video isn't a tutorial. If you want that, check out my on-demand classes. Here's what I want you to know most. Pranayama simply interrupts our default way of breathing. And that matters because, let's be honest, most of us don't breathe well. We don't breathe well for a number of reasons. We haven't been taught, for starters. But more significant is that we don't breathe well because life and stress and responsibility and work and technology all negatively impact how we feel and consequently how we breathe. This happens because all of these things impact our nervous system, and our nervous system influences how it is that we breathe. Yet at the same time, how we breathe can also make a positive impact on how our nervous system functions, which is the importance of breath work. But sit tight because I want to talk a little bit more about the nervous system in just a moment. As a career yoga teacher, I've practiced and studied pranayama for decades with some incredible teachers. These are the most important things I've learned. And if we forget these basics, the very practice that's supposed to help us can actually become a hurdle. First, there's no one-size-fits-all to breath. Breathing isn't universal. There's no formula. In yoga, pranayama was always tailored to the individual. Even within your own life, your needs change day to day, week to week, and consequently, this has an impact on your breath. If you breathe too long, too short, too forcefully, you're not helping yourself out, and you can actually override your system by trying too hard to follow a formula and to breathe in a way that's not aligned with where you are in that moment. And this is the problem with many of the modern day breathwork classes. They override your system by forcing every student into the same mold. Second is that pranayama is about balance, not extremes. Pranayama is not about ice baths, max holds, pushing yourself into stress response. Its purpose is balance. In fact, the Yoga Sutras, kind of the holy grail of yoga, defines what balance in the breath looks like. And they say that the breath should be both long and smooth and consistent. And it should support our body to feel comfortable yet alert. And our mind should be present and attentive. Breathing is not extreme, not jagged, but balanced. Third is that clarity should take precedent over intensity. The real promise of pranayama is clarity, calm, steady mind. And it works directly with your nervous system. And let me give you a quick anatomy lesson. We have an autonomic nervous system, and it's made up of two parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic component. You may have heard these described before as rest and digest versus fight or flight. When we're breathing in, we light up the sympathetic response. We activate our system. And when we breathe out, it turns on the parasympathetic response. We relax and we slow down. And so by balancing the length of the breath in and the length of the breath out, we in turn balance our nervous systems. So it's not about chasing bliss or getting high. It's about balance, which leaves us feeling more present, aware, and deeply connected to life itself. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been to one of those modern breathwork classes? How did it make you feel? Maybe not in the moment, but the next day or the day after. Did you feel like it was bringing you into balance, or did it feel like it eventually took you out of balance? Maybe you're still going and you can tell me why I've got this all wrong. My goal here is not to change your opinion. And if breathwork is your thing, I genuinely am happy for you. What I want is to help you explore more deeply the practices that you've come to love or the ones that you despise. And perhaps open doors to new possibilities and new ways of thinking about the yoga and mindfulness traditions. And if you want to go deeper and stay in touch, check out all that I have on my channel and practice with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And at the end of the day, the breath isn't just a tool. It's not just a hack. It's the most intimate connection we have to life itself. And when we treat it with reverence, whether breathwork or pranayama, it stops being about chasing results and starts being about remembering what's already within us, the potential to be calm, centered, balanced, and clear. So take one more breath in and one more breath out, and I'll see you in the next video.